Hare Krishna. If everybody could have a seat. Hare Krishna. We're going to have a little pravachan, a little lecture. If everybody can sit down and save the conversations for later. Hare Krishna. So today is not the actual day of Govardhana Puja. That was on Thursday. But every day is a festival in spiritual life if we're doing it right. Every time we chant Hare. No, Hare. Hare. Just Hare. Hare. Krishna. Rama. Every time we chant those three words, we should feel like we're bursting in ecstasy. That is the goal, to become completely ecstatic by chanting Hare Krishna. So if we're not at that stage, then we know we have a lot of work to do. And we should spend more time concentrating on that endeavor than the current political scene or the current relationship with this person or that person. Yes, those things are important, but this is most important. So this is why Krishna comes in this world. Krishna comes to this material world, to this planet, once every day of Lord Brahma. Extra samosa for anybody who knows how long is one day of Brahma. 1,000 yuga cycles. And the yuga cycles, starting with Satya, Treta, Dwapara, and which age are we in now? Kali Yuga. So those four added together is 4.32 million years. Multiply that by 1,000. We have any math majors here? Or finance majors? Anyway, do the math. And that's just a day, and a night is the same length. So 8.6 billion years. Once every 8.6 billion years, Krishna comes to this planet. And he was here just a little more than 5,000 years ago. That's when this pastime occurred that we're going to talk about tonight. So we're very, very fortunate to be this close to Krishna's appearance on this planet. But that doesn't mean that the pastime is finished. Prabhupada informed us that Krishna's pastimes in the material world are like a road show. As soon as Janmashtami occurs on this planet, then the next second it occurs on another planet. And it's just rotating from planet to planet to planet to planet. And if we become perfect in our worship of Lord Sri Krishna and Radharani, then we are promoted generally, not directly back to Vaikuntha, not directly back to Goloka Vrindavan, but to join the road show here in this material world for one life to become perfect in our attachment to Radha and Krishna, and then we go back to home, back to Godhead. Is that cool? Isn't that a great goal in life? And that was given to us. Srila Prabhupada came specifically for the purpose of convincing us to give at least some portion of your consciousness, some portion of your attention in life to this Radha Krishna worship. Because we all have experience, we're all adults here, that you give your heart and soul to anybody else, there's very good chance of disappointment. And even if the relationship remains strong for a whole life, death comes and reminds us that this is not permanent. Now you may think, okay, I'll pick it up next life. And that happens sometimes. They're not here now, so I can tell the story. But our temple president, Subhas Prabhu, and his wife Tadeen, my dear god brother and god sister, they were informed by one Brigu reader that they've been married for the last 5 lifetimes. So be careful who you choose. You may be with them for a while. Those who are not married, you may be with that person for a while. But it's not guaranteed. Everybody know who's John Lennon? What is his claim to fame? John Lennon, who is he? One of the Beatles. And who was he married to at the end? Yoko Ono. So Yoko went to Prabhupada when Prabhupada was in London. And she asked, Swamiji, can you guarantee that George and I will be together? Because she was convinced that there was life after death. At least that much advanced she was. So she asked, Swamiji, can you guarantee that George and I will be together next life? And Prabhupada said, that's not our business. She was disappointed. But the point is, don't bet on that. And why would you want to be necessarily with this person again? So I see some heads going. Make Krishna, Radha Krishna worship your target, and you'll never be disappointed, Prabhupada said. You make Krishna your son, you make Krishna your father, you make Krishna your friend like the coward boys, you make Krishna anything, any relationship you have with Krishna, your lover, most other religions, spiritual traditions, they have no clue about this, that God can be your lover. So we won't go deeply into that. But any relationship that you make with Krishna, Radha, it's eternal. And there's never any disappointment. That alone should give us incentive to become very serious about our attachment to Radha Krishna worship. So this festival is so beautiful. In his Brajadama Mahamamrita, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is giving us an overview of how to see Vrindavan, how to worship Vrindavan. So he starts out, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, because that's the summum bonum right there. We know in this Vedic tradition that God is worshipped as a divine couple, not some old guy with a beard ready to strike you with a thunderbolt. No. Radha Krishna love. They're just displaying their romantic attachment to each other, and we are meant to assist them in that. And when we assist them, we feel pleasure. Our natural constitutional position is to serve Radha and Krishna in their loving attention to each other. And when we do that, we feel the highest pleasure. No amount of pleasure from this material world can compare. And we have experience in our own lives, and we see in other people's lives, they have money coming out of their pores. Millionaire, many times over billionaire even, and they're still not happy. Not only are they not happy, they make other people miserable. Isn't it? You can think of so many people that fall in that category. Miserable. So money will not make you happy. Position will not make you happy. None of these things will make you happy. What will make you happy is worshiping Radha and Krishna with your heart and soul. So Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Vrindavan. Not only Radha and Krishna are worshipful, but their land where they display their romantic dealings, Vrindavan, that's also worshipable. So when Krishna comes on this planet, he replicates that mood and that simple village life. That's what Vrindavan is meant to be. Simple village life, raising the cows, raising grains for the cows, worshiping Krishna, Radha, enjoying with them, eating with them, playing with them. That's Vrindavan life, no industry. How many of you have been to Vrindavan, India? First time I went was 1976. So it was still kind of village-like. Not completely like when Krishna was here, but still village-like. You're walking down the street, maybe a car every 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Mostly you see bullock carts or bicycles. Now you go to Vrindavan, it looks like Hollywood. Isn't it? High-rise buildings and honk, 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 honk. That's not Vrindavan. That's not what we want. We want this simple village life. Krishna, Radha, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Vrindavan. Shri Govinda, Gopinath, Madana Mohan. This is what we want. We want this kind of relationship with Krishna, not this fast-paced, hectic internet life. No, people don't even have direct relationships anymore. They're looking for a partner, they go on the internet. I was just reading. It's sad, actually. It's very sad. One young lady was saying that she went on the first date, and the guy just looked at her and said, "I'm not feeling it." That's it. You're wiped out. This is modern life. Everybody's trying to find happiness through the internet, even up to meeting somebody. And then, yes, you get lucky, you think, you meet somebody, and they take a glance at you and say, "I'm not feeling it, goodbye." That's not real life. That's not real life. We want this kind of life, simple life, village life, worshiping Radha Krishna. Shama Kunda, Radha Kunda. Giri Govardhana. So tonight we're specifically focusing on Giri Govardhana. So the backstory behind this is just before the Govardhana Leela, there was that Leela where Krishna and Balaram, they pretended to be hungry. They're the Supreme Personality of God, they're not hungry. But they sent their cowherd boyfriends to go and find food. So they went to this village where these yogic brahmanas were performing sacrifice. Om Swaha, throwing water this way, lighting fire that way. Very proud. And when the cowherd boy said, "Krishna and Balaram are nearby, they're hungry, please send some food." No, you're interrupting our sacrifice. Get out of here. But the cowherd ladies, the Brahmins' wives, not the cowherd ladies, the Brahmins' wives, they were pure devotees of Krishna. So they said, "Well, you wanted Krishna Balaram? Come." And they gave them so much food, to take to give to Krishna and Balaram. So Prabhupada pointed out that it's not about your learning and your position like the husbands. They were highly placed brahmanas and they knew all the mantras and how to do this and do that. But the heart wasn't in the right place. When God, Krishna, comes in front of you and asks for something, He's giving you the opportunity to serve. He doesn't need anything. We heard the lecture this morning, Prabhupada stressing, Atmarama means completely self-satisfied. God does not require anything. Prabhupada made that clear to us because he could see we were getting a little proud. Oh, I'm cooking for Krishna. He said, Krishna does not need your puri or your kachori or your sweet rice. He doesn't need that. And when he wants that, he has Radharani. Prabhupada said once, I'll never forget, he said, there are two things that Radharani does that is keeping this whole relationship going with Krishna. Her cooking and her dancing. He said she's been cooking for Krishna since time immemorial and she doesn't make the same preparation twice. But he said of the two, you know which is more important? Dancing. Prabhupada said if Radharani were to stop dancing, the whole thing finished. So we should also take that seriously. When we come in front of Krishna, now we're here for a festival. Don't be a log on the wall. You see people come here, and the devotees are dancing, and they're like, no, dance. Dancing is an important part of our regular daily life, what to speak of festival. You come to a Hare Krishna festival in a Hare Krishna temple. You're eyeballing the prasadam, the deities are there. You should be in such a joyous mood, you can't keep your feet on the ground. I didn't bring the video, but on Thursday was the actual Govardhana Puja. I went upstairs and I was taking video of the devotees circumambulating. And there was one devotee in particular, one Mataji. She was so excited, I don't think her feet touched the ground. She was going around and around. I was thinking, why am I not like that? This is how we should be, so excited to dance and chant and, of course, take prasadam. That's part of the package also. Lord Chaitanya came to give us this very simple method of spiritual purification, to qualify ourselves to go back to home, back to Godhead. Chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Dance. Chant, dance. Hear a little philosophy like we're doing here. It's not philosophy, it's actual factual knowledge about Krishna. And then when you're tired, you sit down and take prasadam. You get energized again. Very simple process. Don't overcomplicate it. It's not very complicated. Come to the temple or go out on Harinam, chant, dance, or make a program at your home. Chant, dance, make a little prasadam according to your means. You don't have to go in debt to feed everybody. Simple dal, rice, or whatever your culture. I was telling some devotees the other day when I was living in the San Diego community, I used to go to Tijuana every Friday. We used to have a program in Tijuana. You know, nice Mexican devotees, nice family. And they were struggling to make Indian food. Because they thought, you know, Krishna consciousness means Indian food. And they were struggling. So I told them, I said, after, you know, respectfully, after about a month of going, I said, why are you struggling to make Indian food? Why don't you make what you normally make in Mexico? Quesadillas, chili rellenos, like that. And they were happy. They switched. They started making, and it was so good. I still remember that salsa they used to make. It's so good. So whatever culture you come from, you don't have to make dal, rice, chapati, sabji. Krishna will accept whatever you make and offer with love and devotion. That's what Krishna is looking for. Because he's not Marama, he's so satisfied. So anyway, the coward boys came back with the prasadam from the wives of the brahmanas. And then they headed back to Vrindavan. And that's when this pastime starts. Krishna is all cognizant. He knows exactly what's going on with everybody. But just for Leela, he approached his father, Nanda Maharaj. And he inquired, I see you and the other coward men, you're so busy doing things. What's going on? He knows everything. And Nanda Maharaj, you know, Krishna at that point was barely 7 years old, so out of respect for his son, he explained that, you know, we are agriculturists. We depend on rain to grow food for ourselves and for the animals. So traditionally, we worship the demigod Indra, so he will send sufficient rain. So, I don't know if you can see clearly there. We'll just read this part here. This is directly from the Krishna book. How many of you have a Krishna book at home? If you don't, you should see one of these dedicated book distributors and get one before you leave. You have some here? Yeah, okay. So if you don't have a Krishna book, please approach Dear Lalita or one of the other book distributors, get a Krishna book. Now you have the book. How many of you have actually read it? Put your hand up from cover to cover. The entire Krishna book. This is Prabhupada's gift to the world. He didn't know how long he had to stay here on this planet. So he wanted to give us Krishna's pastimes in one presentation. Because it actually fills the entire 10th canto, which is very, very long. 90 chapters. And he didn't know if he had time to do verse by verse like he had done with the other 9 cantos. Or planned to do it, actually. He had not even done that. He had come from India with the first 3 volumes of the first canto in 3 volumes. And then from there he started. By my good fortune, I got involved with the book production back in 1975. 74, actually. So Prabhupada knew that the world needs this Krishna book. We need to understand who is God, what is our relationship with Him. So He gave us this Krishna book. It's very, very important to read that book. And I'm so happy, even the young devotees dedicatedly are reading this book. One of my academic outreach team members, she said to me, I'm not so philosophically inclined, but I love to read Krishna book. And I just read it to the end, and then I start over and read it again. That's the way you should do it. Just read Prabhupada's books, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. Can you bring the other mic? I think the battery's dying on this one. Haribol, bring that other mic here. So, Krishna went home, and he saw his father getting ready to make this Indra Yagya, and he convinced him in the following way. We'll just read what Prabhupada said. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in the presence of his father, and all the elderly coward men of Vrindavan, spoke in such a way as to make the heavenly king Indra very angry. He suggested that they forego the sacrifice. His reasons for discouraging the sacrifice performed to please Indra were twofold. So Prabhupada weaves in philosophy with the actual story, so we can get a clear understanding of what's going on. So first, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita, there is no need to worship the demigods for any material advancement. All results derived from worshiping the demigods are simply temporary, and only those who are less intelligent are interested in temporary results. So this is very important. Most people around the world, they don't believe in demigods, but those coming from India know it's a fact. Not just India, practically any ancient culture you look at in the world, they know there's a god of the rain, there's a god of the ocean, there's a god of the earth. Why? They didn't have any internet to exchange ideas back then, thousands of years ago. Why did they all come to the same conclusion? That there's a rain god, there's a sun god, there's a moon god. Maybe because there really is a rain god and a sun god and a moon god. Now, many of the younger sections in India, they don't believe this anymore. They think it's just grandma's tales. And I've said this many times, but it's a fact, Prabhupada said it, that the British systematically made you turn against your own culture. It's just mythology. You don't really believe that there's a rain god who can throw thunderbolts and smash mountains. And this is all obviously just mythological. And so the educated Indians were educated that way by the British. Don't believe all that stuff. Technology, factories, mills, that's what you should get interested in. So, here it's clearly stated why you don't have to worship the demigods. Even though they exist, there is one supreme being who is in control of everybody. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha. Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karna Karnam. That's Krishna's position. So, if we worship Krishna, if we surrender to Krishna, then we don't have to separately worship the sun god, the moon god, the rain god. We don't have to do that. So Krishna's making that point. That's one of the reasons why he comes to this world, to turn our attention towards him. Now, otherwise, the older section from India, they know. You go to the temple and you worship, Om Jai Jagadishari, give me this, give me that, Jai Jagadishari, Om Bhagavan, give me this, give me that. No, that's not necessary. You just surrender to Krishna, everything is taken care of. So the second reason, whatever temporary result one derives from worshiping the demigods is actually granted by the permission of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is clearly stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Mayaiva Vihitan Hitan. Whatever benefit is supposed to be derived from the demigods is actually bestowed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Without the permission of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one cannot bestow any benefit upon others. So that's another thing we have to be careful of, because some of us, we have a few dollars in the bank, and we get a little bit puffed up. Somebody comes and tries to give you a little gift, and no, I don't need it, I don't want it. No, that's not bhakti. Bhakti means giving gifts and accepting gifts. Don't be puffed up thinking I have so much money in the bank, I don't have to accept any gift from anybody. No, because pretty soon that money is going to be taken away from you. Actually, just the opposite. That money will stay here and you'll be taken away. So we should not be puffed up. If it's your birthday, just like if your little child came and gave you a handwritten card, you'd be so thrilled. So if another devotee gives you a little simple gift, accept it. Now, the good thing about gifts is that if you really don't need it, you don't have to keep it. Re-gifting is allowed in bhakti. Prabhupada did it all the time. Wherever Prabhupada would go, this was before iPhones, and so you had to tell time by looking at your watch. So where the devotees realized Prabhupada uses the watch all the time. So wherever he went, somebody would give him a new watch. And he would put it on, wear it for a few days, and then give the previous one to somebody else. So re-gifting is okay. Don't feel embarrassed if you re-gift. If you get something from someone and you don't use it, give it to somebody else. That's bhakti. That's intelligence, actually. Don't keep it in a closet gathering dust. Don't throw it away. Give it to somebody else. We tried an experiment here once, and I wish we would go back to it, where maybe once every 6 months, at least once a year, you put up a series of tables outside, and the devotees who live here or the congregation, whoever wants to be involved, you just come and put all your excess stuff there. And then you can take turns going on the table and say, okay, I need one of those. I could use that plate, or I can use this, whatever. And you exchange in that way. You don't have to sell it on eBay and then, just put up a table, put out whatever you don't need. You can do it in your own community and exchange in that way. Because yes, sometimes there's a tendency to hoard. I know, I like to hoard technology, and I get to the point and say, my closet is overflowing with computers and cameras and stuff I should either sell or give away or throw away. 3 options. So, Krishna went on to present what was called the karma mimamsa philosophy, which states, as he says here, my dear father, I don't think you need to worship any demigod for the successful performance of your agricultural activities. Every living being is born according to this past karma and leaves this life simply taking the result of his present karma. That's a fact. He's Krishna. He's not saying anything that's not true. Everyone is born in different types of species of life according to his activities, and he gets the next birth according to the activities of this life. Different grades of material happiness and distress, comforts and disadvantages of life are different results of different kinds of activities from either the past or present life. So, obviously, there's beyond that is bhakti. This is just a way of convincing his father that it's not necessary to worship the demigods. But ultimately, again, one is meant to surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But what Krishna is saying here is substantiated by a verse in the 10th canto, which just kind of stuck with me as I'm reading. It says, Eka prashuyase jantur eka esha praliyate ekona bhungte sukhatam eka esha chadukshritam. He says, every one of us is born alone, dies alone, and alone we have to enjoy or suffer the results of our good and bad activities. So karma is a reality. It's not fictional. It's not something from Indian mythology. It's there in every bona fide religious or spiritual tradition. They just don't have it nicely packaged like we get from the Bhagavad Gita. What is karma and how to break the karmic cycle, the different types of karma, all of that is there in the Gita. So Krishna presents his karma mimamsa philosophy. Nanda Maharaj becomes convinced, or just to please Krishna, he goes along with it, and he forgoes the sacrifice. So the Vrijavasis they worship Govardhan Hill. Shri Giriraj Govardhan Ki Jai. And so tonight we have a tiny replica of that. They worship Govardhan with so many presentations of rice and dal and so many grains, sweet cakes and fruit. And you can't imagine how they, and again, this is all organic. You don't have to look at a label. In those days, 5,000 years ago, everything is organic. Everything is pure, clean. Nowadays, we are so proud if we can overspend to buy one little package, 10-ounce package of organic blueberries for $6, $7. It's like crazy. But that's what life has come to. So under Krishna's direction, they worship Govardhan. They brought all presentations. When do we start? When does it start? 6, okay. 5:45. We're almost there. Okay. Few minutes, we'll wrap up. So then Krishna, remember he's 7 years old at this point, he manifests this gigantic form to show the residents of Vrindavan that he is actually Giriraj Govardhan. Not surprising, again, Krishna says that he's in every atom and in between every atom. Everything is emanating from him. So for him to manifest a form as gigantic as a mountain, that's not so wonderful. And he ate all the presentations. Normally when we offer to the deities, we make nice presentation with a plate and made with love and devotion. They eat with their eyes so that what's remaining can be distributed as prasadam. Just like now, Giriraj is going to eat all of this presentation, but it will be there that we can distribute. But in this case, Krishna ate everything. It all disappeared. And he was showing them that I can eat the whole universe. He kept saying, Anior, Anior, give me more, give me more. So they were running around and getting more and more and more. Krishna can eat everything. And not just can, he does eat everything. At the end of the 11th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, it stated that Krishna, at the end, eats everything and everyone, just like a condiment. When you eat rice, dal, sabji, like you will shortly, no matter how full you are, you can eat a little piece of pickle. Actually, it helps, right, to digest. So for Krishna, the entire universe is like a little piece of pickle, a little condiment. And he can and does eat everything. Now, after that, Indra became very angry. And he sent his clouds of devastation, including Samvartaka, to destroy Vrindavan. Water was rising, the cows were in distress. And then Krishna, to show Indra, put him in his place, break his pride, with just the pinky finger of his left hand, he held up Govardhan for 7 days and 7 nights. Shri Giriraj Govardhan Ki Jai, Shri Krishna Ki Jai. And the coward boys, the coward men, the coward ladies, his gopi girlfriends, the cows, all the animals, they took shelter under this mountain, and they were extremely pleased because, as Shampriya Mataji pointed out, she gave class on Tuesday, that normally the coward boys, coward girls, they only see Krishna briefly every day. They don't see him the whole day, just briefly, especially the coward girls. They would see him passing in the morning, and then they would see him coming back in the evening. And during the day, they're just meditating Krishna. I hope he's not stepping on a pebble or a thorn or something. Just Krishna. This is Krishna consciousness. They're doing their duties, milking the cows, doing this and that, but the whole consciousness is focused on Krishna. So that's what we need to emulate. We need to get to that point where we do our work, whatever, pharmacist or doctor or bus driver, whatever you do, but maybe not bus driver, you know. But Krishna conscious, always thinking of Krishna. That is the goal of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, to revive our Krishna consciousness. Giriraj Govardhan Ki Jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Yeah, okay.
So if everyone could please stand. Just a quick